Welcome to the ITEXPO newsroom here in Miami Beach, where it's warm, beautiful, and nothing like home right now. So, first of all, I have Anatoly Levine with me. Anatoly is now with Spirent, which his unit was with Avaya and was RadVision, but now is Spirent. And can we get just an analysis of what part of your business unit went into Spirent? So let's start there.
Sure. So RadVision, it's a whole business unit. So RadVision had two business units, one focused on the video conferencing hardware, equipment, etc., and another one focused on technology. And it is a technology business unit, as it was known in RadVision, and then in Avaya became now developer tools business unit in Spirent. So It's a whole business unit. Pretty much, the unit moved. All the people stayed in where they were, but in their physical offices. But yes, now we're part of Spirent Communications.
Now, I think of your business unit as being basically a developer's paradise of great tool sets, and I think of Spirent as being a testing company. Is this now going to be kind of a merger of better testing tools with better development tools?
So what is very interesting is that Spirent is known as a testing company. By the way, I can do a mini test. Do you know, it was not called Spirent, but do you know when Spirent was created?
No, I don't.
Take a guess.
1970.
1936. As an electric supply company in the UK.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then through a lot of transitions, it's all written on the Spirent website. It's short reading, but it's interesting how company does not stay still and adjusts and changes to, and they really get into, in the late 90s, they got into the testing tools, and then they divest of all other businesses and focus just specifically on testing. But talking about
really,
yes. So they are testing tool companies, but talking about like true convergence. Even though I hate the word convergence, but talking about the synergy rather is that Spirent is focusing on developers as well with the testing tools, because a lot of Spirent testing tools are intended to help developers to build their products. It's not, yes, of course, some of the testing tools are used in QA and used in the service provider labs, etc. But developers worldwide take advantage of the testing tools to improve their products before they actually released. And this is where the synergy comes in, because we, as a developer tools business unit, we focused on developers from 1995. So in essence, we're just combining best of the best, and what Spirent wants to do is to continue catering to the developers, now offering more. So now you can have the testing tools, but you can also have, if you need developer pieces, development tools to make new products, then you got them from Spirent as well.
And that's important because of the fact that with the open source movement and all the other activities going on, we've run into a situation where QA is not what it used to be. Quality assurance kind of is, let's see if the field finds any bugs, as opposed to, real rock-hard testing. So it's up to the developer to actually, get as solid as possible before things get deployed.
It's better be, because otherwise you end up with endless patches, and you end up with all of the security breaches and all the other fun stuff, which then saving a couple thousand in development and testing will cost you millions and billions once you deploy it. So, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't think like that. But that's actual reality.
Okay, so now that we've talked about your company, let's put on your other hat and let's do a real quick briefing on IMTC here. And
okay.
And where do we stand on the standards work, the development work? What do you guys see in terms of helping us all get to the point where we're doing things as a group rather than one-offs?
But we will need to circle back to M2M stuff at Spirent. So, but talking about IMTC, we successfully completed merger last year, end of last year, with UCIF, so now we're one organization. We got a couple of new activities which are interesting. One of them on the Unified Communications Software Device Networks, as we call it, UCSDN, which has a lot of uptake, and it's interesting. It is very interesting how, if you think about that technology, it has a correlation with M2M as well, because it allows you to automate network control depending on what you run in those networks. So there are some interesting parallels, which I think we will be exploring later. But also we added some of the work, some of the deeper work on the coding and the codecs, and not even that, but rather a video delivery. We have a group working on the media aware network element, which is now being worked on at IETF. So we have an activity group where we're looking at the different use cases and different scenarios and doing some interesting work there. So and we obviously continuing. We just completed a forum. We continue like the education mission for the industry. We had a very successful forum in Seattle, hosted by Microsoft. And we planning. We're going to actually come back this year to Miami area. We're going to be in Marriott Pompano Beach. Mm-hmm. There will be IMTC Fall Forum in November, and the theme, which was a theme of essentially, well, it's not called a VoIP and M2M, as we heard here, but really we're going to be talking about new ways to work in the Internet of Tomorrow. So we're going to be connecting,
nice.
Really looking at connection between the different worlds.
Okay.
And last but not least, our traditional, the major industry event dedicated to actual testing,
right.
SuperOp 2015, will be taking place in Porto. We're going back this year again to Porto, Portugal, May 15th or 22nd, and it's going to be all IMTC member companies coming there doing. We're going to do testing on the traditional stuff such as SIP and H23 video conferencing. We're going to test some of the WebRTC implementations. We're going to do voice and video over voice and video over LTE testing. So there will be a lot of interesting stuff.
Cool. So now let's circle back to M2M and Spirent with M2M. So how do you guys play with my IoT M2M world?
So we same as I think it's it's pretty much given. It's on the surface that M2M, IoT, whatever name. There are so many names. IoE, right. IoT, whatever.
I don't care.
But we know what we are talking about. Yep. So the world of everything talking to everything is coming in. This is where I think that what will happen is that all of the communication will really move in that direction. The communication will get into the IP communication industry as we know it will be effectively absorbed by a much bigger realm of communications where devices and people will communicate together. It will be one and the same, and we see a natural transition because for us as experts in actual standards for IP communications, we see a natural transition for us to move into the world of M2M and the Internet of Things. And what we are focusing on right now, so as a developer tools business unit, we are right now in the process of actually, it's not a simple work to assess where the standards are and what we would like to take on, but we plan to deliver, again, tools for developers to help them implement standards. One of the top contenders for us today is OneM2M, as we think that this is the most far-reaching or most universal out of all of the standards which have been worked on. It's not vertical specific. It covers very wide range of technologies. So we're looking at providing, delivering, creating products for developers for OneM2M and related standards. And at the same time, even now, we're starting, but there is a very substantial demand for testing. even though 1M2M is, I believe today is a day when the 1M2M will be approved as a release 1.
I believe that it was given to the group to ratify on Friday, so I think you're right.
Today's Friday.
Last Friday, but yes, you're right.
No, it's this Friday.
Okay.
I think it's this Friday. It doesn't matter. So this is so it's becoming a standard. But even now, I just spent the week in Miami last week in 1M2M technical meetings, and there is already a very substantial demand for testing. So and that again, Spirent is focused on supporting developer needs and testing of the standard technologies. So this is where we see we see our place to help people with developer testing, with interoperability testing, conformance certification. So we plan to embrace it very actively. So we definitely Spirent as a whole is very active, and we want to be a part of it.
Excellent. Cool. Well, Anatoly, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Carl.
And we look forward to hearing more about what Spirent's doing. So
we're
thanks.
going to do it in the next 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Thank you, Carl.